There are women with so much hate and resentment towards men, they eventually become just like the angry, resentful and controlling male archetype they despise so intensely. Others go about their lives secretly wishing they were men, feeling cheated being born as a woman. This has nothing to do with sexual orientation, but everything to do with perceived power and respect automatically attributed to men purely because they were born with the right piece of anatomy. Woman has to work damn hard in our patriarchal society to get even a glimpse of the respect and position men are accorded with naturally. Along the way, she will be the subject of ridicule and dark humour, branded with many condescending names. Some women experience their personal connection with Mother Earth so deeply they truly believe that they are her incarnate, claiming to be a woman of notoriety from our history of recent millennia who embodies the Earth Mother energy. This is more common than you would think, and more common than they themselves would care to know. For example, when someone alludes to thinking they are the incarnation of Mary Magdalene, Morgana, Isis or Eve, etc., it is because they resonate so strongly with their archetypal personality as a fractal of the divine feminine. The truth is, all women embody the mother energy in all her facets, characteristics, qualities and aspects. All are a fractal of her, and the body of woman is made up of the same ratio of natural earth elements as the earth herself. Our travelling spirit comes through woman as mother is our creator, our nurturer and custodian for a few short years. Then, we as a child leave to continue our journey through time. For women, it is a privilege and an honour to be chosen to play the part of mother in our movie of life. However, for many mothers, the thought of their children leaving home is incomprehensible and even scary. How will they relinquish their role as everyday carer? What will they do with themselves? How will they cope with the pain of separation and perhaps even be unappreciated, disparaged and forgotten? This is what our Earth Mother is experiencing with us, her human children. How many of us have forgotten the role she has played for us and continues to play every day? We don't give her a thought as we race around chasing our tails, never having enough hours in the day to cope with the demands of the synthetic lifestyle we live, far removed from our Earth Mother and her natural cycles. The nurturing mother energy is always there, providing what we need in order to survive moment to moment of each and every day. How many of us stop and give thanks and gratitude to her for what she has given us and for what we have? I am talking about the air that you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, the abode you live in, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, your favourite toys, even your body itself. Whether consciously aware or not, acknowledged or not, everything you have, use and consume right now comes from Mother Earth. You exist here because of her. She sustains you and she facilitates your life. She asks nothing of you in return. But how many of you express gratitude to her? Many so eagerly pray to a male god deity and give thanks to him, not ever mentioning Mother Earth, nor giving her a moment in their thoughts. Quote, "But what did this masculine god, who solicits worship, adoration and praise, ever do other than prey on your spiritual sovereignty?" End quote. So you see, what our Mother Earth feels towards us is like a mother being cut off from her children. And so because of the separation, The pain she bears is incomprehensible. Was the story of Eve and the snake literal, or was it a metaphorical, spiritual representation? Was Eve manipulated, coerced and tricked by the snake? Or did Eve make an agreement with the snake? And if she did, what was it? These are questions I have pondered and puzzled over throughout my life, and have come to know that the true answers are not to be found in the Bible, nor from a priest or an academia, but are to be found within our own hearts. My heart tells me that Eve is indeed a metaphorical representation of the divine feminine, and that she did make an agreement with the serpent energies on behalf of the feminine. The purpose was to allow human, her children, to experience everything this reality can offer, the good and the bad, positive and negative, light and dark. The creators of this reality knew that an arena was needed to test and challenge human beingness for all it is worth. This consequently includes being tested by the most deceptive and manipulative energy that exists in the universe. Since our Mother Earth is the divine feminine expression of the universal creator, the participatory anchoring of primary energies in this domain requires feminine beings. It is the feminine that anchors and holds the organic positive and negative energy streams for this reality to function. However, in setting up this reality, a feminine council of volunteers was needed to hold the energetic streams so that eventually the synthetic energies of the dark, negative forces and the synthetic light, positive, conditional love forces from this God entity were able to function here. These feminine beings knew full well this volunteer work was to be the most arduous task they could possibly experience. The responsibility of this obligation was to continue through many incarnations. A contract was made, Eve and the snake. The travelling spirits of many feminine energies with the appropriate wisdom volunteered to hold these energetic streams in place for eons of time. They did this knowing full well this was not about them, but about helping to create the arena for humanity and the deceptive forces to negotiate. The action of light is waveform, duality, polarity. Both sides of duality needed their foundational energies anchored into this domain to provide you with the opportunity to come here and live the life you are having, to experience all the challenges and the triumphs too. We could have decided to live in the positive white love and light domain, all wrapped up in the white fluffies. But where was that going to lead us? Nowhere, really. Many heard the call the divine feminine sent out to come here and undertake the test and challenge of an eon. Look how many of you heard, then volunteered to be the way showers of your peoples. Because this reality is feminine, it means woman has the final say. Alas, many women cannot find their voice. For many, speaking is too scary and feels dangerous. They justify this by thinking, who will listen anyway? The travelling spirits of millions of women were deeply traumatized during eras past, which are still imprinted into their cellular and genetic memory to this very day. For some women, speaking up in front of more than just a couple of people can be paralyzing, to say the least. The experiences of having tongues cut out, having a tight noose around their neck, and being hung, burnt at the stake, being viciously tortured by the men of the church, God's supposed representatives during the Dark and Middle Ages, has left women feeling traumatized. Many are too frightened and unable to find their voices to this very day. For some, this process of finding their voice is physically painful. It hurts to talk and is felt physically through the neck and throat area. The mouth becomes dry, mind clouds over, and the most intense, irrational fear grips them like a death vice, rendering them incapable of speech. I am here to tell you it is now safe to speak up. Find your voice. Say what it is you want to say. They can't hurt you again. Any memories you have of how unsafe and dangerous it was to speak up in times past, know that we are now at the stage in the cycle where it is time to move beyond the fear. Mother Earth, the Divine Feminine, wants you to speak up now, just as you did back then. Only this time you will be heard, and it is no longer dangerous to your well-being. It is time for the sisterhood to unite, reclaim your power, and express your wisdom. You have chosen to come back at this time to free yourself from the cycle of suppression, of not being allowed to speak, not being heard, and not being acknowledged. By reclaiming your voice and breaking the cycle, you symbiotically empower all women, the Divine Feminine, to come out from behind the veil, reclaim her sovereignty and her rightful place. This concludes the subchapter, Our Divine Feminine, and concludes the main chapter, Hidden Knowledge.